questions.
Please.
Today you have been talking about how to be a great person, how to be great. You shared about how to pass things on. I have a somewhat more personal question for you. And I believe this question will not only help us understand how to be great, but also help us to understand you a little better. So Matthew, you have been married for 19 years. You have 5 children. You have been at PayPal for 15 years. And most of those years, you have been a leader, I assume. So you probably have been a leader as long as you have been a parent. I can ask you a lot of questions about how to better lead by example and things like that. But I feel that if I ask you how you become a better parent, if you answer to that question, we can better associate with that because most of us are parents. So I'm going to ask you a question in that direction.
Okay, please.
You have 5 children, so you have survived parenthood 5 times.
Yeah, not dead yet.
I have seen your car parked at the parking lot till very late, many times. But yet, today, I was speechless. At some point, my eyes were welled up because I was so touched by your passion to pass things on to others, to make us better people. We are not even related to you. We just happen to be working in the same company. Who knows how much longer we'll be co-workers. But you have such passions to make us better people. Now, looking at your family, they are your children, your family members. With such passion, I'm sure you are doing a lot more for your children. I would like to learn from you how we can be better parents.
So that's a dangerous question. Much easier to tell somebody how to do their job than how to parent. That's fraught with danger. This is, again, I could have Uncle Mike over there in the corner say, my children, Mike's an uncle to them. Not in blood or marriage, but we've been together for a very long time. There's a beautiful poem, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And in it, it talks about the role of a parent. And this is something my mother taught me when I was very young. She said, Matthew, I'm not your friend, I'm not your buddy, I'm not your pal, I'm your mother, and there's only one of them in the world, and I'm it. And my job is to treat you like the arrow, and I'm the bow, and my whole purpose is to shoot you as far forward as you possibly can go. And that isn't necessarily by being your buddy. And so there were times in which there was correction, there was time in which there was love, there was friendship and happiness. And I love being around her, but it is a very different relationship. It's very unique. So for me, a parent, when they take a child and look at that child, and they want to live through the child, and they want to live vicariously through them, which many parents do. Not saying it was true, but just many parents do. That to me is a poison. You're taking something from them. When you can take a child, see who they are and what they are, and just help them accelerate through that, that's what I do. And I don't do it in any way, shape, or form the best. I'm certain I'm not the best father. I guarantee I'm not going to be the greatest dad. Again, time on file, I work a lot. I do try to take that while I'm going to private school with the money I earn. So there is some justification to that. Probably terrible, and I regret it later. But the example I can give is Amanda, my 11-year-old. She loves Taylor Swift. And I find Taylor Swift monotonous. Every song sounds the same to me. I can't differentiate it. It's formulaic. It's the whole teeny bopper kind of thing. Every song is a love song. And oh, Amanda just loves it. When we were going through a rough spell, Taylor Swift was here. I surprised her with tickets and bought them. And they were bloody expensive. And I was like, oh God, I can't believe I'm buying these. Yet, I did. Elaine, my wife, and my other daughter went with her. And this is one of Amanda's great memories. And she loves it and remembers it and talks about it. And Taylor Swift got real close and she's like, I could almost touch her. Amanda's dreams have formulated around this. And to me, it was making that choice, which is kind of a profound waste of money on one hand, right? Pick I supported Taylor Swift. I mean, there's like in some circles I'm ashamed, but as a father, it was putting her dream before mine, putting her desires, her passions before mine. I'm not trying to tell her don't become a Taylor Swift fan, but rather giving, like I tease her about it regularly, but at the same time always supporting her. If she wants an album, I give her a little brief and then buy the album. So for me, that whole notion of parenting that way is important. And for me, it comes from all the people who've done so much to make me better, to invest in me. And it would be just greedy and thoughtless not to pass that on in every context. So, that's
Amen.
Yeah.
And Matthew, we have time for about 2 to 3 more questions.
Okay.
We have one here, but we...
So it's 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
You said this about eliminating doubt.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of mediocre success more than failure.
I'm sorry, say again?
So I'm more afraid of us trying things and being happy with mediocre success than failure.
Yeah.
So how do you actually practice that eliminating doubt so that you really either fail or you succeed instead of saying, oh, I feel good about myself and I'm done?
So I'll answer it in a personal and professional context. Personally, I can talk about it in terms of languages I speak. So I speak Arabic and French. I can brutalize a conversation in either one. Some people have suffered it, thankfully. Chinese, I can say ni hao ma, xie and doiguchi when I knock at somebody. And what I found is that you're gonna look like an idiot when you're trying to practice a language. So you've just got this capability of really just looking like a complete fool when you try something new, especially when you're doing something new. And you just have to get over yourself and just try it. And what I find is most people are very patient, and there's kind of this funny moment where they're like, wow, here's an otherwise articulate man who sounds like a school child. I'm learning Spanish right now with the folks at the coffee shop. Alejandro was helping me out, and he's laughing sometimes, just like, no, you don't want to use that. I said something the other day, which was, I'm feeling quite hot, and apparently it translated to, I am a log. I can't even reconstruct it. So professionally, when we're thinking about innovation, it's very much like learning a new language. It's not something you've done before, you're not good at it. Some people learn a little bit about it, they're teaching you from parts and pieces. But you have to just try it. You just have to go look forward, maybe look silly from time to time and not be embarrassed about it. Failure is part of great success. And there's a man, Josh Koppelman, who started Half.com, who's the founder of that, who said, great athletes, and Michael Jordan was brought up not because I'm a sports guy, but because this was beaten into me by him. If you look at his shooting statistics, they're not so great. They're not that much better than anybody else's. If you look at the locations from where he took shots, it's far wider, far more broad than everybody else's. So that's the behind greatness, is embracing failure, is allowing for it, and you can be embarrassed and laugh about it, but push on.
Matthew, what tips or tools do you use to be super organized? You're a VP for 5 years.
I use Adrian and others. I'm not organized at all.
How do you manage to do so many things? Let me rephrase that.
Hire great people.
That doesn't help.
I'm one of the more disorganized people you know. Sorry, can't help you there. Everyone.
Okay, Matthew, so I get the idea that you've embraced failure in order to achieve future success. But you weren't born that way, were you? Because I know personally that the first time I faced, for example, moving from Massachusetts, out of state where I was born, to another state was terrifying.
Yeah.
But once I had done it, the next big move I made from New Jersey to California, not so big a deal. Was there some kind of pivot point for you that was that catalyst that let you achieve greater things?
These are funny questions. No, actually, I'm still chicken shit and scared to death all the time. So when I took on the last role of CQES, I was panicked. I mean, I was so worried about failure. I talked a big talk about knowing quality, and here I am responsible for it. 3 times the size of an org that I've ever seen before, and not knowing if I could scale it fast enough. And could I do it in a way that didn't hurt people's feelings? And could I do it in a way that created greatness? I was just panicked, and remained so for months on end. And anything that I do when I try to achieve something new, I'm afraid. And I go through most of my days wondering if I'm going to get fired tomorrow. So it's like, oh God, am I going to get fired this 101? I really hope not. I got to pay the bills next week. So I haven't gotten over it, and I don't think I ever will. I think I'll always be a little bit nervous. And the disclaimer is behind it, which is, well, people attribute all kinds of stuff to me, and I can map it to the person who did it. I can map it to what I consider to be a little bit of luck or some accidental insight that I had. So, no, it would be self-indulgent to say that I got to this great spot where everything parted and I lost my fear. I go into every next change just a little scared.
Matthew?
Yes.
That's it, man.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Matthew, for that great, inspiring speech. That was more than I expected, actually, and I really appreciate that. I just want to, as a closing remark, tell everybody that this has been a fantastic meeting. I really appreciate everyone showing up.
I'll counter.
Oh yeah, rock counter. Yes, one more. Very important traditional.
How did I do in ums and ahs?
Yes, in the beginning I was told to look for the word O, right? But fortunately there was not even a single instance. Besides that, I counted on R 3 times.